FSU is getting a lot of hypes. All eyes have been on the Florida State Seminoles this offseason. They're coming off a 10-win season last year. And you had a really good transfer portal class. I mean, their transfer portal class was incredible. I mean, you were already a really good team because you already had that monster at wide receiver in Johnny Wilson. I don't know how the hell Arizona State let Johnny Wilson transfer out of their program, but this dude is a monster. 6'7", 235 pounds. This is a created player. And Florida State has him playing at wide receiver. And then they also picked up another good wide receiver from the transfer portal, Keon Coleman. It just doesn't stop with Florida State. Every time I thought they were finished, they always kept adding talent. And when they got Jaheim Bell, at first, I was like, oh my God. Because a lot of you guys may not watch South Carolina football, but I actually do. Jaheim Bell nearly did everything at times for the Gamecocks last season. This dude can play fullback, tight end, wide receiver, wildcat quarterback. I think he's more athletic than Brock Bowers. And that may be a hot take, but this dude Jaheim Bell, if you haven't watched some highlights on him or you haven't watched the game of him, you need to go roll some film and go grab some popcorn and some snacks because he's a monster. And I think that he potentially could be a first-round pick. He's one of those running backs that could end up going in the, or one of those tight ends that could end up going in the first round because you got to look at his versatility. The fact that he's a real-life chess piece on the football field. And then you also have Winston Wright returning at wide receiver. So there is a lot of talent in the passing core for Jordan Travis to throw the football to. And Jordan Travis is a really popular pick to win the Heisman Trophy this year. And he's one of the best quarterbacks in college football. He's gotten better every single season. Jordan Travis could put up a fantastic year at quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles. And you look at the supporting cast that he's going to have, this is going to be one of the best offensive lines that the Florida State Seminoles have had in some time. They haven't had an offensive line this good in nearly a decade. This defense is going to be one of the best in all of college football in terms of talent. I mean, their only concern really is going to be who's going to replace Jamie Robinson and how much production are they going to get out of his replacement. Other than that, they're stacked. They got Akeem Dent at safety, Fentrell Cypress, who was the second best cornerback in the transfer portal, only behind Travis Hunter. So this secondary is really good. This defensive line is really good. You got Fabian Lovett. You got Jared Verse, who potentially could be a top 5 pick in next year's draft. This team is stacked. So can FSU live up to the hype? Absolutely they can. The talent is there. The faith in Mike Norvell has been stronger than it's ever been. And you look at the fact that you get to play LSU early, that's going to be a really good test to tell everybody all they need to know about Florida State football this season. The Florida State Seminoles, they got a lot of talent. They got a really good coaching staff. You got one of the best QBs in college football, and they beat LSU last season. And with the team they got coming back this year, with a lot of chemistry, I think they should be able to do it again. And then you got to be able to beat Clemson. Now, can you beat Clemson potentially twice if you have to beat them in the regular season and potentially in the ACC championship? Maybe. Maybe you slip up once. But outside of LSU and Clemson, who really are their tough games? Some of their toughest opponents are early in the schedule. You don't really have to play a team that is as good as LSU or Clemson And then you do got to play Miami, but Miami is a rivalry game. I don't really think Miami is going to be as good as what FSU is this season. And this is coming from a Miami Hurricane fan. So that game could be a little bit close, but I do expect them to be able to pull that out. You do got to play Pitt on the road. Pat Narduzzi and Pitt could be a little bit of a challenge. But overall, outside of LSU and Clemson, I don't really see a game that FSU shouldn't be favored in. And I think the toughest games that they probably have out of that are Duke and Miami. So FSU, based off talent alone, they should be able to roll through their schedule with no more than one loss. They should be able to go 1-1 at least throughout that LSU and Clemson stretch. I don't really think that Clemson is going to be all that great this year, at least good enough to make it to the college football playoffs. At LSU, they're going to be really good. That game could go either way, but like I said, they could go 1-1 in those two games. So when you look at the talent that FSU has coming back into this season, you look at how good Jordan Travis is expected to be, how good he was last year, being the Heisman contender going into this season. I think the hype is real for FSU. I think they're going to win the ACC, and I think that they're going to make it to the college football playoffs. You got Jordan Travis, a really fantastic offensive line, a 6'7", 235-pound monster at wide receiver, and Johnny Wilson. You got another freak at tight end, and Jaheim Bell, a great running back, Trey Benson. Florida State is going to have a really fantastic offense and a really fantastic defense. I think that this is going to be one of the best teams that FSU has had in recent memory.